Uncommon Sense, Notes on Life and Business, written by Christopher Uyi, narrated by Adrian Galley, an audio shelf production. Part 2. Chapter 9. Staff. Be you a hustler or corporate boss, without a solid team, you're like an eagle without wings. You can figure out big ideas and map out a clear path to achieve it, but without the right people to work with, it's an endless struggle. The possibility of achieving much alone is very slim. It is too much unneeded work. Therefore, an entrepreneur must have lots of associates and, more importantly, able staff. Since we have already discussed associates, let us now discuss staff. Your staff are the people who run with your vision and take action on your mission at a fair price, called salary. While associates work with you for their interests, your staff work with you for your interest. A lot of your success depends on them. Knowing how key staff are to the realization of your goal, it is advisable to drop all sentiments when sourcing and dealing with them. Serious issues must be handled seriously. Hence, professionalism and experience must supersede all sentiments. Unless it is a family business, avoid employing family or friends, and also be careful with recommendations from family and friends. Your business is not a gift in the hands of your family or friends to return favors with. There are many other ways to return favors. If family and friends or recommendations from them must be employed, they must either have the required skill and desired experience, or you send them for the necessary training before bringing them on board your organization. Your business cannot be left in the hands of mediocres, all in a bid to try to please anyone. Always remember how you got to where you are now, and where you aspire to be within the shortest reasonable time. Hence, you cannot allow a simple favor to rob you of your blood, sweat, and tears. There is too much to lose on your path if your business fails. But on their path, trust me, nobody really cares. All employees must be judged based on result delivered and not activity put in, or, least of all, their existing relationship with you. As much as possible, look for people with good values, and, most importantly, those with a desire and an opened mind to learn and absorb quick. Do not be seduced by fantastic certificates and resumes. Most times they do not amount to practical knowledge. Chapter 10. Loyalty versus Ambition. At some point in our quest for money and power, top amongst the battles we must fight within ourselves is the war between choosing the path of ambition or the path of loyalty. The concept of these two mindsets has been wrongly misjudged in recent times. Loyalty has been tagged a virtue, while ambition is seen as a vice. But the truth is, ambition is our greatest asset in our mental arsenal to become what we desire. It is the source of most of the great achievements in the world. The downside of ambition, however, is that if proper doses of humility are not taken as constant supplements to our mental diet, ambition can shut our rational mind from understanding the gap between our perceived ability and actual ability. It is so powerful a passion that where it exists, happiness most times exits. Ambition is not an evil spirit and cannot be exorcised. It is natural to some, while it is acquired by others. Ambition is passion, and passion is power. From the laws of science, we know that power cannot be destroyed, but only controlled. Hence, ambition cannot be destroyed, but merely controlled. And this we can do by determining within ourselves when enough should be enough. Despite its flaws, ambition is the mother of entrepreneurship. Concerning loyalty, we can simply define loyalty as the unfailing support and faithfulness to a person or institution. When it comes to family and marriage, loyalty is not an option, but a priority. But when it comes to friends and associates, loyalty is not a priority, but an option. The litmus test for loyalty are the words spoken in our absence. Unfortunately, the result of this test is usually found out after the harm has been done. The ambitious ones are loyal to the extent it favors their course. Their loyalty blossoms at the scent of opportunity and the brightness of reward. The ambitious person is by virtue of his inner state a competitive person, and winning to him only means number one place and never number two. Now, between ambition and loyalty, my submission is, in the game of power, ambition will take you far in your journey, but it is loyalty that takes you the full course. However, one should only be loyal to one whose loyalty has been proven to his own superiors. You must be able to look through people's political games. Being loyal to a disloyal man is setting up yourself for a battle you need not fight. People from privileged backgrounds may frown at the ambitious ones, looking at them as desperate and capable of doing anything, in their perception, evil, to reach the top. But the truth is that this view comes from their own insecurities and desires to keep other people down. For anyone starting from the bottom of the ladder of success and power, who have to prove themselves consistently just to attain anything, they must be intensely ambitious. However, ambition should not be a basis for lacking integrity. If you naturally do not have integrity in words and deeds, you should strive to conceal these by all means for as long as it takes. Unfortunately, nothing can be hidden for too long. Deep-seated traits will always betray at the time you need them the most. Integrity is to your business what air is to your body. Without integrity, you can only go for so long. In no time, your reputation will choke your business to death. In business, big words and big promises have no value. Only actions and results matter. And it's your actions that finally betray you in no time. Chapter 11. Work. The simple knowledge of physics shows us the process by which things can be achieved. Isaac Newton observed and stated that an object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless acted upon by an external force. The emphasis here is on acted, because things will remain as they are until they are acted upon. Our ambitions and goals remain mere dreams till we act on them. This process of acting is what we call work, be it mental or physical. Book knowledge is good, but it is action that gives better understanding. Experience has shown most of us that plans on paper are all smooth and easy until we begin to act on them. It is in the acting that pure knowledge is attained. It is common for people to believe that work can be substituted by other means to achieve their ends. Unfortunately, they get to find out soon enough for themselves the indestructible truth that there is no shortcut to success. Rather, anything worth its value takes time and effort. We must work to become whatever we so desire. Work is the cornerstone of humanity and the bedrock of success in any human endeavor. The work to attain your desires cannot be shifted. It is a direct call that must be answered by you alone. The ones caught in physical hard labor usually believe that genius which achieves by mental labor is an easier burden. They say, genius achieved success overnight. But that is because they do not understand the countless sleepless nights and deep frustrations that genius experiences before its success. The truth about life is that if you fail to do the mental work that life demands, you will end up doing the menial jobs that the world offers. Some are lucky to have inheritance that might seem to shield them from working for most of their lives. Unfortunately, depending totally on an inheritance to feed you all through your life denies you from the true blessedness of adulthood, which is self-reliance. for self-reliance is of utmost importance in attaining the silver crown of maturity and wisdom. Book knowledge is good in itself, but can only be fully comprehended by effort, practice, patience, and experience. Books give information. Work gives knowledge. Books stimulate. Action accomplishes. For effort must be added in order to achieve. The one who relies solely on book knowledge soon becomes exhausted and overwhelmed with realities. For the distance between what we think we know and what things truly are in practice are so far apart, like the different shores of an ocean. About experiences and necessary lessons in life, it is good that we learn from others' experiences. But the ones that quest for greatness must have some extra needed and personal experiences. Such will be the cementing factors of their own worldview and recipe for their success, for which they alone will have the patent rights. They will be the final authority in those realities. Those very insights will become their own keys to success. For general knowledge takes you to where everyone is going, while personal experience takes you to the path of your own destiny. The road to failure is wide and paved with the stones of good intentions and excuses, while the road to success is narrow and paved with the stones of good thoughts and hard work. No matter how fantastic a business idea, it can only be brought to reality through work. An entrepreneur must love work, for it is a proof of two things about him. Firstly, it is a proof of how much he truly wants to achieve his desires. Secondly, it is a proof of his sanity, because only sane people are called to duty. Chapter 12. Patience. Patience is for the strong. Patience is for the brave. Strength and bravery are two key required qualities for success in life and business. The expression of patience is the mark of complete maturity and the bedrock of all virtues. It is a shining star in the crown of wisdom, a divine quality to be acquired by humans. It is the test of endurance and the proof of understanding. Patience is an acquired virtue. Hardly anyone is born patient. It is an armor by which we defend our sanity and ward off the evil arrows that cause regrets from rash decisions and unnecessary mistakes. It is a godly character, for once you master time, you enter the realm of the immortal. It is normal for people to expect things to happen in their own time, and may very well find this so in seasons of good tidings. As it is said, time flies while having fun. But in difficult times, time seems to stop moving or becomes unbearably slow. Therefore, patience can be said to be more needed in seasons of low tides, difficulties, and setbacks. We should, however, bear in mind that patience is not in any way leaving things to chance, for leaving things to chance is a recipe for disaster. Patience and laziness should not be confused to mean the same thing. Laziness is waiting when nothing has been done, and the harvest of laziness is destitution. But when the needful has been done, then we should wait. As Warren Buffett said, no matter how great the talent or efforts, some things just take time. You cannot produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. It is a complete lack of understanding for a farmer to be envious of the man who harvests maize in a few months after planting, when he planted a mango tree. Harvests most times are in relation to quality and quantity. As wise men say, good things take time. So if you must receive the good, it is sometimes necessary to endure the bad. After all, joy would not feel so good if it were not for pain. And every once in a while, nature requires that we endure and perspire to acquire what we desire. Most times, growth and sustainable progress are usually slow but steady processes. Patience is not just the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good disposition while waiting. anyone that has mastered patience is firm and is a master of self and lots of circumstances. To strike well our goals, we should be patient. For patience gives us stability and a better perspective of our goals. The forces of nature are subject to the patient one. Sometimes we achieve more by standing on the sidelines. So the next time you feel overwhelmed and bewildered with events, it is advisable to stay calm. While calm, we are able to put things in their right perspectives, and with this comes balance. Time is on your side if you have done what you have to do. It is wisdom to avoid wasting energy on unprofitable efforts. Rather, when the opportunity presents itself, take time out to gather and garner momentum to strike better at the set time. Chapter 13. Solitude. Those who have not harnessed their latent powers in the place of silence have no core, and an individual without a center has no balance. The one without balance is erratic and double-minded. Those who cannot be alone with their thoughts and hear the man within instruct the man without are not yet fit for society and cannot be trusted with any important role, for they will endlessly be catalysts for chaos. Being that they have no internal control, anything they are entrusted with to control will fall apart, reflecting their true nature without what they are within. Amongst the most common fear children possess is the fear of darkness, silence, and being alone. If a child is found to be very comfortable with darkness and being alone, we usually begin to suspect a socially dysfunctional child, which, if not attended to early enough, can lead to very antisocial traits in adulthood. However, such cannot be said for an adult. In fact, if an adult is found to always be in need of company, afraid of darkness, and hates silence, it is normal to perceive such an individual as being monophobic. The more we live and go through life's events, we begin to understand that it is better to be alone than to be with the wrong company. I personally believe that concerning friends, if your present friends cannot add value to your life, then you should change your friends. And then if your new friends, too, cannot add value to your life, then the humble truth is that you are unlucky with friends, and your best decision will be to forget about them and practice more of self-love and self-improvement. There is, however, a precondition for this decision, and that is, you should check yourself to be sure that you are not the one with fundamental character flaws that makes friendship problematic with you. Because to have the best out of friendship, you must be friendly and wise. Solitude is the meeting place where illusions and sentiments meet reality. It gives us the time to distance ourselves from present activities and think objectively about the past and the future. In solitude, we recover strength, think clearly with minimal distractions, and gain perspective on issues. It is best that we engage these solitary moments with a ruthlessly realistic mindset, so that without any bias, we can absorb the true nature of things, think through situations around us for ourselves, and then balance them with conventional wisdom and advice previously obtained. After which, we must go a step further by gradually advancing beyond conventional patterns of thought. This advancement in thought is what is commonly called thinking outside the box. Events in life mean nothing if we do not take out time to reflect on them in a clear and unbiased manner. This remains the reason why most people repeat their mistakes. One of the aims of solitary moments is for us to make war with ourselves, gaining virtues and defeating vices. Through the years, I have observed that our failures and struggles sometimes are unrelated to external factors, but rather related to our own internal enemies, which are our flaws, ranging from indecisiveness, procrastination, fear, and other weak characters. It is in solitude that we find the place and time to remove the plank in our eyes, so we can see clearly enough to remove the speck in our brother's eyes without hurting them. Adult life is full of all kinds of activities that keep us busy and, in the long run, mentally drained. Most of these activities are routine in nature. Unfortunately, one of the things routine does is robbing the mind of its creativity. For a poor mind robbed by routine, it is in solitude that the required emotional, mental, and spiritual balance are attained for a more stable and successful life. Solitude is the place where we find the ladder to heaven, upon which we must climb to find peace and truth to overcome challenges. Every hero and successful person walks this path. If we continue to run from knowing the effective reality of ourselves, of others, and our circumstances, preferring rather to soak ourselves in pleasures and distractions, we sooner or later will be forced into solitude, but likely at a very uncomfortable and unredeemable level. It is in solitude that we fortify ourselves against our true and ever-present enemies, which are sentiments and assumptions. The difference between a youth and an adult is that the youth depends on outward appearances, while the adult depends on inward realities. Now, the path that takes us from youth to adulthood is in the lonely corners and the narrow, quiet ways of life. As important as solitude may be, it is, however, impossible for a person to constantly be in solitude, as solitude is not an end in itself, but the means to an end. Neither total solitude nor constant activity can be pursued in the real world, but there must be a balance. To obtain this balance, we will need to choose for ourselves a convenient hour every day to meditate, to feed and commune with our spirit, to gather and garner strength and wisdom to illuminate our minds and enable us to see clearly through life and perform our daily activities with sublime sagacity. At the gates of adulthood and on the pathway to greatness, we necessarily, though unwillingly, become more solitary. This is so because the journey of destiny must be embarked on alone. The entrepreneur who desires great success must discover that quiet place where he seeks and finds answers to the puzzles from within himself. The easiest way to failure and confusion in life is to lose touch with yourself. Anyone who loses touch with himself becomes adrift on the ocean of life without rudder, chart, or compass. Imagine how meaningless such a life can be. Surprisingly, the painful reality is that some people are existing in this very meaningless state. Deep within ourselves is the pathway to all knowledge, wisdom, and truth. All we need to achieve our desires in this world is within us and not somewhere up in the skies, temples, or in people. Never forget this truth today. The power resides within you. Chapter 14. Metamorphosis. The most important code an entrepreneur must live by is to keep learning and to constantly evolve. There comes a time when you must drop the hustle and chase a dream. This evolution of moving from a small-time entrepreneur, termed a hustler, to the higher echelons of business called the CEO class, could be the hardest thing for some people because it involves entering new terrains in your social circles, which may completely alter your psyche and way of life. One must try never to get addicted to the hustle, for the hustle is not an end in itself, but the means to an end. The quest for money and then more money is the underlying common factor between the hustler and the CEO. However, there are three key differences between the hustler and the CEO. The first difference is that while the hustler's main focus is money, the CEO's focus is money and power. That is, assuming we all believe in God and put Him first in our priorities. Then the hustler's priority list will be first God, next money, then money again, and then more money, before family, and then whatever else takes his fancy follows in that order. While to the CEO, after God will be family, after family, money, then power, and whatever else interests him follows. Secondly, whereas the hustler just chases his ambition by any means in any way, the CEO chases his ambition with proper structure, planning, and strategy. The third difference between the hustler and the CEO is that, putting into consideration the ephemerality of life, the hustle dies with the hustler, while on the other hand, because a CEO operates with structure and a vision, his business outlives him. The CEO is the chief officer of a dream, and his job is to take the dream through the gates of reality for as long as he is in charge. When he leaves, another officer takes over. As business grows, you begin to enter new and higher social circles. As this occurs, you'll meet those who believe they are more intelligent and better qualified than you are by virtue of their inheritance. That is, those born into high society families. This can be destabilizing, but it is all part of the evolution process. The corporate world is filled with bloated pride and overhyped intelligence. At early entrance, when people act in their pride around you, it is okay to look stupid. But do not actually be stupid. Humble yourself, watch, absorb your new environment, and learn as fast as possible who is who and what is what. In no time you will be grounded and can start your steady rise. Never make permanent alliances or be quick to action till you are grounded. Such hastiness in alliances can greatly hinder your further rise through the strata, if it so happens that you have aligned with a weak or completely wrong associate. In the higher levels of business, loyalty is of great value. Breaking one alliance and seeking the next weakens your credibility, as whoever you seek to make a new alliance with will constantly view you with a level of mistrust, seeing you as one who can also break your allegiance to them at any time too. Hence, it is wiser to seek adequate knowledge first of the people and events in your new environment before making any fate-deciding move. While you meet actively aggressive people in the lower levels of business, which in urban terms is called the streets, in the corporate world you will find passively aggressive kinds who are harder to identify but more treacherous and deadly in destructiveness. On the surface level in the corporate setting, there are lots of celebrations, social bonding, and things may look great, but beneath the glamour is a lot of depression and chaos. The reality is that you are on your own. Therefore, you cannot afford to lose sight of your vision. You must keep your mind focused on your goals and develop eyes that see through the surface of events and people's manipulations. A very important caution that should be taken is that, no matter how much one evolves, one must never lose touch with his center, that is, your core, your mental and spiritual base. Because from this center is where all inspiration, faith, courage, and power emanates from. Losing touch with yourself is the fastest path to disaster. Chapter 15. Happiness. There can never be an exclusive treaty on happiness, because happiness is relative. What constitutes one person's happiness may cause another's pain, or the other person may be totally indifferent about it. Civilization teaches us to attain our happiness in a way whereby our means do not hamper or hinder the other person from achieving their own ends. Those who live in their self-defeating sentiments are constantly deluded that their happiness rests with others or on outward things. But when reality comes on them, they suffer continual disappointments, regrets, and pains. If one is to find lasting happiness, there must be no leaning on or clinging to things which at any moment can be taken away. If an individual cannot find happiness within himself, where then can he find it? Among company? In alcohol? Or in other forms of pleasures and addictions? An individual who seeks happiness from outside himself is a mental cripple, and will not walk until he becomes complete within himself. An individual becomes complete when he finds the purpose for which he exists, or completely commits to a cause in which he can find fulfillment. By research, I have found that the more people live according to their divine calling, which is their purpose, or commit to a cause bigger than themselves, a cause that consumes them mentally, emotionally, and physically, the happier they become. To find happiness against all odds, one must have foundational principles upon which he builds his life. Standing firm on the foundation of his principles, the events of life are but a boisterous storm hitting dastardly on a house well built. The sounds, the surrounding effects and minor damages might be felt and seen, but the house still stands. This underlying standpoint of an individual's principles is where one garners the required strength, hope, and peace to face life's challenges and derive constant pleasure from the path that one has chosen in life. I once witnessed a man struggle with his last breaths of life. His eyes went all teary. In those eyes, I found two mind-altering instructions. First, that the most important thing in life is life itself. And secondly, that at our final moments in life, all the bitterness, pursuits, desires, and passions do not matter. Happiness is all we seek, and the journey of life has been worth nothing if we could not find happiness in it. When he had taken his last breath, and I perceived the real man within him depart on his eternal journey above the rainbow, where no one truly knows what lies over there beyond, then I began to ponder and ask myself, if I were to die this very moment, will I be happy with what I spent my life doing? Will I have a good report amongst men? Will I be welcomed home by the good master, and be told, well done, because I did his bidding? For truly there is a hereafter, and no amount of pleasures and deceitful thinking we indulge ourselves in this world, can take away this eternal truth. In my meditations, I concluded that the one who is still breathing is doing so not by his power or intelligence, but it is the mercies of the Divine Master that has kept his appointed time in the future. The man who is alive today may not know what tomorrow may bring, but whoever knows what tomorrow holds in store for each and every one of us. Hence, we must make the most of today and find all the happiness in it as much as possible. I respect the man who is alive this moment than the strong man who passed on yesterday. Because life is. Life is the absolute now. And anything good can happen to the man that is. But the man that was is gone and soon to be forgotten, along with the yesterday of a new today. The one alive today is a step closer to his dream. The one alive today must never regret yesterday, for today is a new beginning. The one alive this very moment is, above all, most favored by God, and that should make anyone depressed by unaccomplished desires still grateful for life. For life is far more than things, and the real miracles of life, which we unfortunately often ignore, are the miracles of the heart beating, the mystery of breathing, the mystery by which the mind organizes thoughts, the chance of good health, and the gift of sleep and a new day. Whatever situation, whatever happens, we must constantly strive to be happy. Chapter 16. Nuggets from the Diary of a Hustler turned CEO. I am alone in the dark corner of my library. Amidst the perfect serenity, I am reminiscing on the events of my past. With the dim reflection of the light, I am glancing through my diary. Suddenly a moment of my past flashes right in front of me. A moment I never thought I would make it through, but somehow I'm here today, stronger and wiser. While meditating, I realized one interesting truth about life, which is a cause for most of our challenges. I realized that most times we learn the most important lessons of life and business too late, when painful losses have occurred, and worse still, when their usefulness to us is gone. If we are lucky, we may have similar events in the future, which we can then make wiser decisions based on our past painful but helpful experience. However, we will be luckier if we have good advice before meeting challenging situations in the first place. So I said to myself, why not help someone, somewhere, learn a lesson or two, through foreknowledge, before they find themselves in challenging situations, make avoidable mistakes, and cross over with unneeded regrets. Hence, I have listed a few of my thoughts from my diary that I have gathered through the years by meditation, study, and experience, bearing in mind the non-exclusivity of my experiences, and so giving the reader a chance to be forewarned and forearmed against life and business's unexpected but unavoidable and necessary challenges. These thoughts should be added to your mental arsenal, for I believe that knowledge is never enough, and that the more we know, the more empowered we are. 1. Lead by example. 2. Never make a permanent decision from a temporary situation. 3. Anger is always bad. 4. You can never be too wise not to make a mistake. 5. Always keep some cash. Cash is still king. 6. It is the little things we miss out that bring us down. 7. The only secret in the world is the one you keep to yourself. 8. Never threaten your enemy. 9. Never embarrass your friend. 10. Avoid assumptions. 11. There is power in simplicity. 12. Fear God. 13. When there is a bond, stay loyal. 14. Bend the rules when needed. Break them if you must. 15. There is always a price to be paid. Gifts are more expensive. 16. Forgive, but never forget the lesson of a betrayal. 17. Nothing lasts forever. 18. Be patient. 19. Be firm. 20. Avoid greed totally. 21. Keep your answers simple. 22. Never be complacent. 23. Choose courage over doubt. 24. Man disappoints, God appoints. 25. When embarrassed, laugh. 26. There is no point playing small unless it is all you have got. 27. If your harvest is too small, make it a seed. 28. Deeds don't lie. 29. When you are rich, there is nothing you can do to please the poor. You have already offended them enough by being rich. 30. Consistent effort in the right direction is the master key to all achievements. 31. You always have a choice. Choose the best. 32. There is really nothing to be afraid of. 33. Direction is more important than speed. 34. Whatever happens, life goes on. 35. Life is a gift, not to be kept but used. It is in its usage that we please the giver. 36. Those that seek happiness usually find it along with money, for doing what you love is the key to wealth, health, and happiness, while those that seek money may find it, but without happiness. For the sole quest for wealth and pleasure is the death of conscience. 37. The only way to explain life is to live it, and the only way to fully understand business is to do it. 38. There is no sustainable path to progress through violence. 39. The true test of character still remains power. 40. The more you understand your own weakness, the easier it is to forgive others. 41. Patience is a virtue, not a habit. 42. The number of times a woman conceives does not always equal the number of children she births forth. So also, it is not the number of ideas you conceived or tried that counts, but the ones that you see through till they're accomplished. The world pays for results, not effort. 43. No matter how devastating a mistake is, learn from it and move on. 44. Those with the most challenges in life usually end up the most refined people. 45. Take time out to travel. Your exposure determines the quality of your life. You cannot live better than you know how to. 46. You are never too young to achieve your dreams. Likewise, you are never too old to act on your dreams. 47. The man who said success has many friends, I believe actually meant success has many enemies disguised as friends. 48. Nothing compares to a woman's love when she truly loves. 49. All necessary advice are good, but not all good advice are necessary. 50. Do not worry about how people treat you. Rather worry about making a success of yourself. Success is hard to ignore. 51. Always think twice. A little moment of caution can save you from a lifetime of regret. 52. The difference between reality and sentiment is that sentiment has to make sense because you deliberately make yourself mentally comfortable, while reality is uninvolved. It does not bother how it makes you feel. It is just the way it is. Sentiments tell you people should not cheat in relationships, but the reality is that people cheat for multiple reasons best known to them by their particular circumstance. Reality is not about right or wrong. It is just the way it is, and so it is always best to take decisions from your most realistic view of a situation. 53. The ultimate challenge of relationships is not knowing the bridges to burn and those to keep. 54. Humans are by nature good, but make mistakes. 55. Guide your desires, guide your life. 56. To the extent that I have lived, I have observed this truth about character and circumstance, that the very character that brings about a bad situation may also bring about a good one within a different time and environment. 57. If you must be truly happy, then you must free yourself from all financial indebtedness. 58. Only a free man makes a sacrifice. Under bondage, everything is duty. 59. An individual's greatest strength in any pursuit is the resoluteness of his mind. 60. Sometimes to succeed, you may not necessarily need a new course, but rather a new approach to an old course. Simply put, no idea is completely useless. 61. When it comes to decision-making, understand that the way you turn a Ferrari is not the same way you turn a trailer. Simply explained, big decisions are best embarked on slowly. 62. Consistently, without fail, look at the world and the activities, along with the motives of people with an open mind. 63. As regards life circumstances, I believe in cause and effect, but a circumstance, effect, without a cause, is a test. 64. The most important aspect of any plan for tomorrow is to plan to survive till tomorrow. 65. When it comes to your dreams, there is nothing like going too far. You must push and push. When you get to the limits, you must push some more. The end. About the author. Christopher Uyi is a trained economist, business analyst, and an entrepreneur. He is currently the principal partner, I-54 Consulting, and the CEO, Audacity Acquisitions Limited, a real estate establishment in Lagos, Nigeria. This has been Uncommon Sense, Notes on Life and Business, written by Christopher Uyi, narrated by Adrian Galley, an Audio Shelf production.